we're 2 weeks in with the NFL season. We have a lot going on, and there's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of people saying a lot of things about a lot of players, a lot of teams. But Scotty A. Smith is going to set you straight on what you should probably be thinking about, some of just jumping to conclusions here. Here we go. Scotty A. Smith coming in hot. Let's get it.
Yeah, guys, I'm talking about a topic that you might think is foreign to me, but there's been a lot of hot takes out there. And Chris put it out here, RELAX, as Aaron Rodgers has put it before. We're 2 weeks into the season, guys. We are 2 weeks into the season. Last year, the Broncos were 2-0. The Panthers were 2-0. They won a combined 8 games the rest of the year. I'm not sure if that's true, but it was not a lot of games. 0-2 teams can still have a run. Don't panic, Bengals. Don't panic these other teams like the Colts. We're 2 weeks in, and everyone wants to just dive in on these teams and be like, they're done. They're done for. You can't make this happen. There's 15 more games to play. There's 15 more games. And by the way, we've increased the amount of playoff spots last year. There's one more playoff spot out there. So when you dive in, and it's not just talking about teams. Fantasy football. Everyone's like, oh, this person only got this many snaps or this many targets through 2 weeks. The number one example, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts has been dog shit through 2 weeks. And I have him on one of my teams, and I'm furious about it. He's been targeted 3 times total. I don't know what's going on in Atlanta. They're like, we're not here to play fantasy football. We're here to win. Well, Atlanta, you're 0-2. And by the way, you drafted him a year ago with the number 4 overall pick. So you might want to get him involved in your passing game because that's what you drafted him for. However, it's not time to panic. If you have Kyle Pitts on your team and you bench him this week, you're an idiot. Okay? Let's keep in mind, I actually looked it up. Mark Andrews was the number 1 fantasy tight end last year. He had 1,361 yards. Guess what he had through 2 weeks? First 2 weeks of the year, his 5 targets each week, fewest of the season, 77 total yards combined in week 1 and 2 with no touchdowns. He was garbage through 2 weeks, and he was by far the number 1 fantasy tight end over Kelsey last year in fantasy football. So let's pump the brakes a little, people. Let's not panic. If your team's 0-2 and you had expectations, I've mentioned my boy Steve Fezzik, a famous bettor out here. He literally says right now he puts 40% of his betting emphasis on what he's seen through the first 2 weeks and 60% on preconceived notions coming into the season. So what the expectations were. So almost now, it's still better to have preconceived expectations by people out there that your roster is good than to be 0-2 with a shit roster. Like the Giants, we know the Giants are 2-0. They're not winning anything. No offense, G-Girl, if you're still here. The Giants aren't going to win anything. They're not making the playoffs. No offense, they can be improved, whatever you want. But let's just settle down, everyone. I know the world loves hot takes. I know the world wants to jump on things after 2 weeks. And what's wrong with this team? And this team's done. And why does this happen? But there's 15 games to go. Let's enjoy the ride. How many teams made the playoffs last year that had 2-game losing streaks? I bet almost all of them, if not all of them. Probably not all, but very close to all of them had 2-game losing streaks at some point in the season. So we're 2 weeks in. If you go to 0-3, yeah, that's a steep climb to make the playoffs. That's very, very difficult to do. But at 0-2, there's a lot of time left. There's a lot of time left. A lot of things you can do. A lot of things will change. If you're great, you don't want to be great in September, quite frankly. You want to win games in September, but you don't want to be great in September. You want to be great in January, in February. That's when you want to peak. So these teams that may look trash now could be treasure at the end of the year. Let's enjoy the ride. Don't give up on your teams. Don't get too excited about your teams. There's a lot of people out there like the Eagles. I love the Eagles. Let's pump the brakes. They're closer to 7 to me in the league than they are 3. And I'm a guy that has them. I picked them to make the NFC Championship game this year. in the preseason picks. I have in the NFC Championship game. But I'm still like, hey, let's just enjoy the process. They're going to lose some games here. I promise you that. This is not a dominant Eagles franchise all of a sudden. But let's enjoy the wins. Let's respect the process. Let's just relax a little and not get too tense about where our team is at after 2 weeks. And let's not anoint a team like Buffalo, in most people's eyes, have already won the Super Bowl. And Chris has put it right. You don't want to be peaking right now. And I'm not saying they can't win the Super Bowl. Of course they can. They should be favored to win the Super Bowl. But are they a sure thing? Not even close. A lot can happen. A lot can happen from here to the end of the season to what you go in the playoffs with and how you react in the playoffs, guys. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the NFL. It's the best sport in the world. It's the best league in the world. Don't panic yet. And don't get too excited yet.
There you go. There's a lot about what you said that I'm on board with. I mean, everything, we talked about it a lot. If you're into math, you're regressing to the mean. Things change real quick. Are the Colts going to be a dumpster fire moving forward? I don't know. They'll get better. I'll drink to that. Cheers.
They'll definitely get better. The Colts can come back.
I mean, the Bengals have scored 0 first half touchdowns. That's going to change. The Jets are averaging 303 passing yards per game. Is that going to continue? Probably not. I mean, the Miami Dolphins have the league leading pass attack. I don't know. There's some pretty good teams offensively out there that I think, might be able to catch them. The Steelers running game hasn't been able to get going. I'm sure that Najee Harris will get rolling at some point. So literally, like the Broncos, are they going to have 15 penalties a game? And
no, that one's going to hold up. no. Cole was like, that's not what you said about the Broncos. Haha. I said the Broncos have looked very bad through 2 weeks. That can change. That can definitely change, but that doesn't change what's happened through 2 weeks.
A historic pile of penalties.
There's absolutely a chance for your Broncos. I think there's like a 40% chance the Broncos make the playoffs right now. I think is higher than what most people would
that's
think,
higher. That's generous from what I would think you would probably said. So I'll take that. I mean, 25 accepted penalties in 2 games for 206 yards, including.
Now, if they make it, they're going to be the 7 seed. They're squeezing in. They're the last wild card.
That's exactly where I had them, but
that counts.
So.
G girl, I love G girl. She's like, I'm more tense now because you talk shit on my Giants in that one. Like, is there a massage place I can go to? I don't know.
Oh, bruh. Or
that's
Sean
not where she would want to go.
Oh no, yeah, we're going.
No. All right.
There we go. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that I think, we just all have to be Aaron Rodgers and just say RELAX, relax. Your fantasy teams, the guys that aren't performing right now, will they perform? Are they drafted high for a reason? Yes, they will perform. They will come back. Like, there's just a lot that's ahead of us, right? We're just getting started, guys. We are 2 weeks in. We're kicking off week 3 here tomorrow night with Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And, a lot can happen. A lot can change. So
how much can happen? Now, 0-3, one game we didn't talk about that I think is a big one in the AFC, Chris, is actually the Raiders Titans.
Yep.
They're both 0-2. If you get to 0-3, it's tough. I mean, if the Raiders get to 0-3, I think they're done. If the Titans get to 0-3 in that division, you can make a run. I don't see them making a run, but I could see it. They still have a chance. The Raiders in that division get to 0-3? That's going to be rough for them moving forward.
Let's see. What else do we have? While you were ranting, NFC East champs and New York Giants is boss hog.
I don't think so.
Let's see. NYC East champs, Eagles. NYC going 12-5, or New York Giants going 12-5. That's why the Jags won't win says Squand. Phew, thank God the Pats suck now and not in January, says Boss Hog.
Oh, no, they very well could still suck in January.
Let's see what else. Great advice, Scotty. Rant approved, says Casually Average. Thanks, Scotty. I feel better now, says Football Wife. Everyone's feel you like a breath of fresh air, Scotty. You've let it go. Like
others I've tensed up like G-Girl, but I appreciate that I at least made some people feel better after 2 weeks about their squad.
Well, yeah, guys, RELAX is the key and the theme of our show tonight. So, guys, make sure you just chill out on all of the overthinking on some of these things. Just take it week by week. They take it maybe even fired, says Boss Hog.
Squand said that was a beautiful segment, Scotty A. Smith. Thank you, Squand.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was incredibly beautiful. Bengals O-line needs to get lunch together or something.
Yeah, or just communicate. Like get lunch, dinner, like hang out, like get some communication. Because I actually don't think the pieces in the O-line of Bengals are the problem. It seems like it's a breakdown. Like they don't communicate, and there's like someone that misses, a protection scheme, and there's a free rusher or something. Like it's not. You talked about they're not going to face TJ Watt and Micah Parsons, and that's true. But at the same time, it doesn't matter if you're breaking down in your protection, which is part of the problem right now, which can alleviate with the more you play together, but it should be better already than it is right now. So we'll see what happens with them. But the talent is better in Cincy, but right now they're just not gelling as a line at all.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of work to be done there, and I think they'll get it done. They'll close the gap. It'll only get better. I think they'll be fine.